This is the first mask chain I ever made, and it's a bit shorter than I would like. So this is why I don't want to suggest a size. I want you to measure and make the chain the length that you feel comfortable. I'm 5'8", and this chain is 39 centimeters, including the clasp and jump rings. So 39 centimeters. Taking it on and off could be easier. So I think in the one I make today, I'm going to make it measure the length of your clasp and jump rings and make your chain according to your desired length. So string type, I'm going to use just a normal nylon thread, so no beading thread. Really, you can use whatever thread you would like. Let's get started. I will be showing you how to make this gorgeous and easy mask holder beaded chain. So hopefully eventually we won't have to wear a mask anymore and you can still wear this. You can wear it as a necklace, a choker, you can use it for your eyeglasses. You would simply purchase the rubber ends and also wear this as a bracelet. And you can remove as many rings, remove one lobster clasp. You can add rings if it's not quite long enough to be double, triple strand. It's a great little chain, and I believe this is really the easiest way to make it without needing a lot of supply and without knowing how to use those special crimpers and crimping the metal, the beads, and that type of thing. So to begin, we will need some seed beads. So these are 11/0, and we will need some rondelles. These are faceted rondelles. I believe they're 3x2. And we will need some jump rings. So I want to put 2 on each side. You can design it however you want. You can use whatever size beads you want. It's all up to you. And then I have 2 big lobster clasps. So I will explain to you quickly how we're going to make this, just so it's a bit easier for you. We're going to take 10 seed beads, create a circle, and go around it 3 times. And then we're simply just going to add our beads. And then we're going to make another circle at the end with 10 seed beads. And then thread our thread down and knotting as we go down to secure it. And then we will cut off the end. And since I'm using white thread, every time we knot it, we want it to be knotted around the lighter bead in case the thread shows. And then once we have our circle on each end, you add your jump rings and your lobster clasp. And I quite like having the same color bead next to my bindings. I think it just looks quite neat having, so if this was rose gold, jump rings would be rose gold, and then the beads close to it would be rose gold. I just always like how that looks. My length is 51 centimeters. I think it's a really good length for me to quickly take my mask on and off or fit it over my head. My previous one was shorter and it was a bit cumbersome putting over my head, so I quite like the 51 centimeters. Do measure yourself though and figure out what length is going to suit you. Some people like it quite low on their chest, some people like it a bit higher. It's all up to you. So mine's 51 centimeters, and whatever your length is, you want to add 36 more centimeters for your thread. So mine would be 51 centimeters plus an extra 36 centimeters, which is 87 centimeters. I've cut my thread already, and I'm using an inexpensive beading thread called Sono. can't remember how much this was, but I know it's significantly cheaper than the Wildfire and the Fireline. So Wildfire and Fireline are two brands that are probably the most expensive on the market. For this project, I'm going to get away with the cheaper thread, and I've attached my needle. So this needle, I believe, is a 10 or 11. A 12 should do, any size really. And so let's begin. So for this design, I have my silver beads between each accented black crystal area. There's 15, so 15 silver, 15 silver, 15 silver, all the way through. And then I've kept a short accent, a longer accent, a short accent, a longer accent. And we just do that design the whole way through. I'm going to take 10. These silver beads are by Preciosa, and they're 11O, crystal silver color. 36 grams for £2.25. This brand, Preciosa, the beads are very uniform, and for some projects you really need them to be very uniform in size. For this project, if you want it to look exactly like mine, you will want it to be very uniform, but if these were a bit uneven in size with each other, I would be fine with that. But they just so happen to be very good quality and very uniform. If you purchase cheap beads, perhaps from China, and they don't really have a brand attached to them, they're fine for some projects. But for some, like if you're making a beaded flower, you will want every single bead to be uniform if you're copying a pattern. So to begin with, we will start with 10 for our loop, our circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for this circle, we'll come down to about here, and we're going to go back through the beads from the first one at the bottom. We're going to go up them and make our circle. So that's one loop around our circle, and we'll want to go around it again to secure it. And I'll go around it just one more time. I'm someone who really likes my pieces to be very secure, whether I'm selling them or not. Okay, I believe we went through that 3 or 4 times. So that's our circle. So now what I'm going to do is simply knot it, let's say 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then I want to get rid of this piece. So it's easier if you take a needle off, and I want to tie 3 knots right here. 1, 2, 3, and always make sure you leave enough string, because looping around and tying the knots will be very difficult if, let's say, the string was half the length. So now that we've tied 3 knots, it's very secure. I think most people would cut right here, but I've never liked cutting by the knot. So I'm going to put my needle back on. And I'm going to go through 3 and then cut it off. So I'm not right next to the knot. Okay, so now we can attach our needle to the other side. And we can add our jump rings and our lobster clasp. So these jump rings are very inexpensive, textured, somewhat thick, good sized jump rings. They're not real silver, they're not plated silver. Close that up. It's hard to see where they open because of the design. There we go. So on this one, I'm going to loop it through my lobster clasp. Now be careful when you order findings. You want to know what the thickness is, because if this jump ring was too thick, it wouldn't have fit through this lobster clasp hole. So always make sure you know about the thickness of your wire you're ordering, everything. Okay, so that's all done. You see how pretty all of that silver is? And that's what we're going to do to the other end once we've threaded on all of our beads. My pattern is 15, 15. All of the groups of silver are 15. And so the design I have is starting with the shorter accent. So it's simply just black seed bead, rondelle, crystal, black seed bead, and that's it. 15, 15, And so the next accent is black, silver, crystal, silver, black, black. So black, silver, black, silver, and then crystal, silver, black, silver, black. Then 15. The shorter accent is just black, crystal, black. And what I'm going to do, I only have 4 more crystals left. So I'm just going to count on here how many crystals I have. And there's 15. So I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 8 more. So I'm going to take out 8 more. When I run out of them, I'll know I just have 15 more silver and I'm finished. So 4, 8. Okay. So it's black, silver, black, silver, crystal, silver, black, silver, black, and then 15. And then now we will thread 10 beads for our loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So luckily I have plenty of thread left. Oops. Where are my 10? So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go back up 10 and make our circle, our loop. And we want to pull it down to meet here. So we want to go through it 1 or 2 more times. Now, this last time I'm going to go through it, I'm going to knot throughout the loop as I go around. So, I'm going to go up 2 or 3. I'm going to tie, let's say, 2 knots, might as well. Extra secure is how I like it, so 2 knots. We'll go up 2, tie it up, 3, go through 3, let's tie 2 knots here since we're almost finished. My needle came off, so tie this knot, needle back on, and we will go down the last 2. 1, 2. Then we will go down a few silver beads. Tie a knot. Go down a few more. We will tie a knot here. And I think that's pretty secure. I don't like cutting at the knots, but my thread keeps falling off my needle, so I'm just gonna cut it. And if I give it a bit of a pull, it feels very secure. So I'm going to attach the other 2 jump rings. And we have a gorgeous, easy to make mask holder beaded chain. I hope this tutorial was easy and helpful, and do let me know if you have any questions, comments, suggestions down below.